Hey guys, Jason here with Jason's Works, and wanted to show you something very exciting. I've been waiting for a long time for this, and now able to show you the auto punch. No spacers needed to punch a perfectly centered hole in any coin, from a dime up to almost a 2-inch coin. So silver eagles are 1.6 inch, so even bigger than a silver eagle. This punch right here is the concept of Brian Smith. It is, so everybody has to thank Brian Smith for this. He contacted me a while ago and wanted to share an idea that he had of combining the reduction die concept of the coin being centered in a cone with the punch. And when he told me that, and I was able to get a picture in my head, my jaw literally, not literally, but it hit the floor because it made so much sense. It was so simple of a concept that, yeah, I just knew in my heart of hearts that it was going to work. I just had to figure out how it was going to work. And then that's when we started really brainstorming different ideas. Also got other people involved. I know Robert Gibb had a lot of input, a few other guys, and also, gosh, Bob, Russ, Rich, Troy, and so many others as well. But anyways, let's. I just want to show you the different parts and pieces of the punch, how it works, and also some tips and tricks that I've learned so far. There's probably more to be learned. I'm sure other people will find other things that the punch can do. So, but let's get started. I'm really excited. So first and foremost, let's go over the different parts of the punch. So this is what we're calling the punch housing. Very heavy, very sturdy, hardened steel. It's so solid, if you ever drop it on the floor, you're going to worry what happened to the floor and not the punch. This thing is really super solid. So the housing consists of two main parts. This is the top of the housing, or housing, yeah, top housing, and this is the base that contains a pedestal. Now the pedestal is where, this is a 1/4 inch punch right here, and a 1/4 inch die, which is labeled, laser engraved. Thank you, Jason Carnes and Russ for that. But you place the die into the pedestal like so. And you want to make sure it's in all the way, not crooked. If you can spin it with your fingers, then it's good. It's in all the way. If it's crooked, a little cockeyed, it's not going to spin. But it falls right in, so with a tight tolerance. So that is basically the punch. Now you see here I've done a little modification. I got some slick strip to put on top. That's to protect the coin when you're removing the punch, or removing the coin from the punch. You can get these on Amazon or just different hardware stores even, but it's called slick strip. It's UHMW tape adhesive on one side and ultra high molecular weight plastic on the other. So okay, oh, and also it also comes with a little plastic washer. Now the only function for this is to protect the top housing during transport. So when you get the punch, you'll see this little plastic piece in here, and the idea is that when you screw the top down, it'll press up against that plastic piece and not the top housing, just to help better protect the top housing. Again, it's hardened steel and super solid, and we've done different prototyping and tests with it. The surface on the inside of the top housing isn't that critical, but I just like to keep it nice and fresh for you guys. So, and let's see what else. Oh, another feature is the threading. So with the threading, we had several people make a recommendation for a double lead thread for just a quicker screw down. And so this is double lead thread, so it's twice as fast as the last punch. And because you can thread it down and lock that coin in, you can either use a brass hammer to punch with, which I particularly like because it's very fast, efficient, and mobile, or you can use a hydraulic press. And the face of the punch is actually designed to actually slice through rather than punch through. It's very efficient. I've done some testing with that as well. Probably 2 or 3 times easier than other designed punches that are out there. So, oh, and we have the punches from a 1/4 inch all the way up to a 3/4 inch. Now these right now, as of this day, there's only 2 of these. We still need to manufacture these and get those out there, but it is coming. And there's also 3 more sizes coming, so that you'll have a 1/16 inch variation from 1/4 inch all the way up to 3/4 inch, which will be 9 punches total. I don't think you need 9 punches, but I've been getting a lot of requests for more size options, so gonna make it available. So let's get started. I think I'll just go from a dime all the way up to a brass Fujio ring blank. Have the silver round here, similar to the silver eagle, silver $1/2, silver 1/4, a nickel. The penny I'm actually not going to punch, but I'll show you that, what I'm going to use that for. So let's start with a dime, and I'm going to do the smallest hole with a 1/4 inch. So just to double check, I like to, okay, that die fits that punch, so that's a 1/4 inch punch. I'll take the plastic washer out and set that in. Now you can I've been experimenting with either annealing or not annealing the coins prior to punching, and I'm getting to where I'm liking not annealing, because because of the minting process, the metal is work hardened, so it'll help, the detail will not want to be deformed as much as compared to an annealed coin. And the hardened steel punch is so hard, it'll have a little bit more wear maybe, but very, very small amount. But if you do want to really buy some insurance, cheap insurance, you can always place a piece of paper towel on top of your die and then place the coin on top of that. So here we go. Now sometimes the double lead thread may be a little bit hard to start, but once you get it on there, just do a counter rotate and then start it. And actually, when I was really making some rings, I had to make some rings real quick, and or not real quick, but a lot of rings, and be efficient at it. And I wasn't thinking about it, and I was just kind of going autopilot. I had no issues with it. So, and I have punched, oh gosh, a few dozen coins with this so far at least. And so I think it works in real nice. Okay, so here we go. 1/4 inch die, 1/4 inch punch. Put a little dry lube on here, Burr Life. Get that in there, and here we go. Now those are really light taps. You don't need much for a dime. Another great feature is that each plug will fall out of the base, which is awesome. So there's the plug. Now we'll just remove the top here. And there we go. So you got several different options on removing the coin. It almost just fell out right there, so I can just pull on it and it'll come out basically. But just for demonstration purposes, you can put the punch through the housing here like this, and that's why I use that tape on top to protect the coin. And grabbing the base of the punch here with your fingers, just do some light taps and it'll pop right out. Actually, stuck to the hammer. So there we go. There is a perfectly punched 1/4 inch hole in a silver dime. Very easy to do, just amazing. Let's see, so let's go ahead and go to the nickel. So the one kind of hurdle we had to figure out was trying to figure out how you could do punch holes in coins that were smaller than the pedestal, because the cone would hit the pedestal before it hit the coin. And so Rich actually came up with the idea of raising the coin up by increasing the height of the die, which was absolutely brilliant. That solved all the problems. But let's say, so the smaller dies will be taller than the larger dies. So we have the 3/8, that's a taller die, and a 7/16, that's taller. But let's say you want to punch a 1/2 inch hole in a nickel, which I wouldn't personally do. It's a very, very narrow band. But let's just say for demonstration purposes. So put that back, done up there. Okay, so I'm going to take the 1/2 inch die, place that in there, make sure it's nice and flush, and we'll put the nickel in there. So I know it's not going to engage the nickel, so I'm not going to tighten down real hard. But you hear that? Hear that rattle? So it's not engaging. Now normally I would only put a 3/8 inch hole in a nickel, up to a 3/8 inch hole. But let's say you want to do the 1/2 inch for whatever reason, so you got to raise that nickel up. What you do, or what you can do, is place a penny in there, or any other, you know, piece of scrap metal, and then place your nickel on top of your penny, and that'll raise it up. And now put it back in, and now that top housing is engaging that nickel, and you're good to go. So 1/2 inch punch, 1/2 inch die, going to go through a nickel that's hardened. And there you go, you got a penny and a nickel plug. Go ahead and remove this. And there you go. You got a very narrow band nickel. Now the penny's going to be off center. The penny is just a consumable. It's just there to raise it up because it's not centered by the top housing. Okay, so let's show another way of taking the coins off. Now you want to make sure to remove your die, and then you can screw your top down, just part way, just, you know, get a couple of threads in there, and then just drop the punch and the coins in there. And you can either use a rubber dead blow hammer. At this point, you want to make sure and use something that's softer than steel. So I like to use the rubber dead blow hammer, but you can also put this underneath a press and press down. Just make sure you're not pushing down on this with a piece of steel. Rubber, copper, brass, something softer than steel. But so that's just another way of doing that. You also want to make sure and protect the base. I mean, it's not too critical, but I like to put some type of protection here on the base, just so I'm not hitting metal on metal, steel on steel. So, okay, so there's a nickel. Now let's go to a quarter. I'm already starting to put tools everywhere. Let's see here. Okay, so quarter, I like to use 7/16 or 3/8, but let's do 7/16. So I'm going to place that die in there. Quarter on top. I won't put paper on this time. Like you can see here, it's kind of, probably wouldn't use this for a ring. It's got too many dings and dents on it. But that's kind of the cool thing too with this particular design, is that if the coin is at a round, which they all are, none of them are perfect. So I'm reading 0.950, and there's 50, there's 51, 51, 49, 49, 47, 50. So about 3/1000ths off of round, but because it's engaging the entire coin, it's going to average out the exact center of this off-centered or off-circled coin. So that is really another really cool feature. So let's just put it in there, get this guy going, punch it out. So we're using the 7/16. We'll dry lube on there. Just a couple of hits and you're done. Again, these are not annealed. Let's see. Yeah, there's really no, and I just see it just came off there. So, yeah, I don't see any type of impression from the punch even on the backside. I do like to keep the I like to use the date on the outside of the rings most of the time. So I'll tend to put the date facing up because the only thing that hits the coin on that is the very edge. Or I'm sorry, the only part of the coin that is touched by the top housing is the very corner, the very edge of the coin. So, but I don't see any damage done here. So, so we got a dime, a nickel, a quarter. Put that in a little scrap jar. Next is silver $half. So that one I like to use. Let's see, 1/2 inch. Yeah, so we'll go with that one. So, 1/2 inch die, put it in there. You can also come up from the bottom just to help get it in. There we go. Again, this is well worn, so it's not, this wouldn't be a ring per se. I'm just kind of building up my scrap pile again, I guess. But we'll see what happens if we just punch it here. Let's see. Okay, so 1/2 inch. Yeah, very little effort to get these going. Okay, that one's on there a little bit. Just going to tap it off. I know Robert Gibb's going to make some cool tools to go all the way through. But I think this works good. Works really good. And that was, yeah, we just had to try to keep the cost down as much as possible. But the zinc plating and hardening, and there's a lot of steps and processes. So I'm reading, let's see, 1.97, 1.96, ooh, 92. So this is, so I'm just measuring the outside of the coin, and this one is off by, looks like up to 7 thou. But now if we measure the inside, it's 48, 49, 49, 50, 50. So just a couple thou off, which is amazing. Really good. So yeah, it just blows me away. I love this punch. So there's a dime, nickel, quarter, $half. Okay, so now this is cool. We're gonna be doing a silver bullion round. This is a big one, about the size of the Silver Eagle. So I'm gonna do a 3/4 with this one. Now the 3/4 is a little bit different. It has, because the hole here is 5/8, and we're trying to figure out how to how to make this work. Came up with the idea of actually feeding it through the base first, right? And now die's in there, 3/4 inch die, and now set that down and then screw it in. So the coin is being centered on the pedestal as the cone is brought down. The punch is already inside, engaged. I forgot to put the dry lube on it. Oh, I forgot to put the coin in there. That might help, huh? We'll go ahead and place the 3/4 inch die into the pedestal and place that on top there. I do usually use paper with the pure silver because it's softer, so I'll go ahead and do that. I want to go, let's show the buffalo, so I'll do buffalo up. Okay, so with the one trick with tip with the 3/4 inch punch is that this hole's 5/8, but the cutter is actually 3/4. So came up with the idea of inserting that first into the top housing, and then you can place it on top and thread it down. So we're ready to rock and roll. That is set up for the 3/4. Go ahead and do that. There we go. And that comes out completely because it, well, because it's not caught on the shoulder of the punch. So that is really, so that's a rubber gib design there on the 3/4. But there we go. Yeah, so no detail lost on that side. Now the really cool thing with this, guys, is that you can take your 3/4 inch plug, and now you can insert your 1/4 inch die throw your plug in there, and then cinch that down. Lube. Look at that. Now you've got 2 rings out of 1 coin. These have been pretty popular recently for wedding bands. I've done it out of a $1/2, but much easier with larger coins, of course. But look at that, just that quick. You get two rings out of one coin or 1 bullion round. So very, very cool. Now with a 1/4 inch hole, you'll need to use the 1/4 inch mandrel to fold and stretch that to get it onto your ring stretcher, but very doable. So that's a cool feature right there. That's really exciting, actually. When I did the $1/2, it was, oh my gosh, that was a long time ago, and it was very difficult to do. That was amazing right there. So let's do a brass one. So this is not annealed. This is a brass Fujio ring blank that I sell on Etsy. Also have some other coin ring blanks. But let's do, this is, the hole is just under 5/8. I wanted to show you it punching through some brass. So yeah, that'll take off just a little ring on the inside. So 5/8, double check the size, that's it. And I've been using these punches quite a bit, so it's not a fresh edge on there. Let's go ahead and put that in there. Okay. Now brass is quite a bit harder, but there it is. Punched out that brass like a champ. There we go. So that's it. New auto punch. Alright, so that's the punch in action, the new auto punch. No spacers needed for virtually any coin. Again, a big thank you to Brian Smith for coming up with the idea and contacting me and sharing with me. And also to Keith Tremblay. He was the one who first came. He had 5 punches for sale on some YouTube video a long time ago. I was lucky enough to get one, and I saw some improvements I could make on it. And I was told the same thing by my machinist that his machinist told him, was like, hey, you should make a few and sell to pay for your one. Didn't feel quite right. Once I had the punches, I was like, wait, this is Keith's, punch. So I contacted him and basically asked permission and told him, the story. And it just blew me away. He wrote back and just really supported me and wanted to help me even get this punch out to everybody out here. So that was just, so thank you, Keith, for starting this crazy thing of these coin punches. So let's see who, just so many people to thank. Robert Gibb, Troy, Rich, Russ, Bob, so many people that I can't remember right now. So but definitely check it out. You can get it on Etsy. I still plan to sell the classic punch. I've got a better way of giving different options. So the classic self-centering punch is a great punch. It's been tested, been proven. So I want to continue selling those and getting those out. But if you already have one, that's a great backup. Or you can create a second kit for mobile use. There's one person that told me about that. They were going to have one set of tools for, when they go to craft fairs or farmers markets, and another set for the shop. It's brilliant. I don't know why I haven't done that, because I'm tired of moving all the tools all the time. Or you can sell the older punch and get this guy if you like. So that's what I've done that all the time. The first time I ever punched, or I'm sorry, the first time I ever put a hole in a coin, I used a drill press, and after I got done wiping up all the blood, I said there's got to be an easier way and safer way. That's when I got a Harbor Freight type punch. I think it was on Amazon though, 50 bucks, and used that. And it was a lot easier, a lot safer. But I didn't have somebody like Skip King that has these adapters and tools to make that even easier. So definitely check out Skip King, because this punch is like a Ferrari. I mean, this thing is top notch. I think the best you can get. So, but it may not be suitable for an entry-level type person. And I personally think it's better to walk before you run, learn the hard way. So that way you appreciate the easier way. But also, if something happens and you have to do it the hard way, it's no problem. It's like, yeah, I've been there, done that, no biggie. But if you learn the easy way and something happens and you have to do another way, that can be difficult. So, but yeah, I went from drilling to, just a Harbor Freight punch, and then to the self-centering punch, and now up to this guy. So, and I've sold my old tools to get the new ones, and because yeah, it's just what you have to do if you don't have the funds to get the tools. But anyways, just wanted to share that with you, that I've been there, done that. I've come up through the ranks on doing it the hard way, but it's really is the best way to go. So check out Skip King. He's got some great tools to assist with that for the people just starting out. Other than that, thank you for watching the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. I got a bunch of videos on YouTube. Also, Rio Grande also has some videos showing me different techniques and just different things. So check out Rio Grande as well. They got some awesome tools also. And hey guys, forgot to mention one thing, and that is you can use the top housing to fold your large coins, which is huge. So just plop the coin in there. You can get your steel starter cone, press down, and then finish up with your larger folding mandrel, and it'll be folded. Probably want to go fold a little bit more, but it'll be enough to get it into a smaller die, maybe 1.6, and then continue your folding process. But you will need an arbor press. I wouldn't recommend a hydraulic press, but I like the arbor presses for folding. So, but anyhow, I just wanted to share that. Thanks.